everybody, I'm Taylor from Tailored Expressions. Die cutting directly into your card front is a great way to add a playful peekaboo element to your projects. Plus, it's super easy to do when you have the right tools. Our Peekaboo Circles die is just the tool you need. It was designed with 3 evenly spaced circles, each surrounded by a cute stitch line and then an impress line along each side. So let me show you how easy it is to use this die to create a peekaboo element on your cards. So you want to start with a card base. I have mine folded, so I'm going to unfold that. And I have the peekaboo die right here. And we're just going to put that down on our clear plate and put that die right about where we want it to cut into our card front. Now you want to make sure that the die is centered within the outer edges, so you don't want it off one side or it won't cut evenly for your circles. So make sure that die is centered across the horizontal part of your card. Then I'm going to use some Scotch removable tape just to keep that in place while I run it through my Big Shot machine. Now, one of the reasons why I created this die is because I had often tried to create this look using punches, but I could never quite seem to get exactly evenly spaced circles. So this die, having perfectly spaced the circles out all as a part of one die, solves that problem. Now we're going to move our Big Shot machine out of the way now that we're finished with that. You can see those circles just cut right into the front of the card there. Now, one of the fun things about a peekaboo element is that you can open it up and see what's stamped on the inside, and you can see that through the front as well. But sometimes that's difficult because how do you know when you open up your card exactly where to stamp? So here's my little tip. I'm just going to take a pencil and keeping that closed, I'm going to lightly trace around each circle. And I say lightly trace because we're going to erase these lines at the end, and if you have made a really dark pencil line, it's not going to erase very good for you. So I have my 3 circles outlined, and now I'm going to take my Peekaboo pumpkin set, which was designed to work with this die. So the different pumpkins in this stamp set will fit inside these circles. And I have them here laid out on my blocks. I'm going to use some different inks. These are a few of my favorites. I like the Distress ink by Tim Holtz. So I'm just going to go ahead and twist and tap the ink, and as you'll see, I'm only inking the pumpkin portion of my stamp. And then I'm going to take the green ink, which is Bamboo Leaves, and I'm just going to do the stem. Then I'm going to take that pumpkin and stamp him in the center of that middle circle. Then I'm going to move on to my next pumpkin. This time I'm going to use a little darker ink. This is Morocco. It's a Memento ink, and I'm going to do the same, just ink up the pumpkin portion, and then take my green ink and do the stem. I really like using these smaller inks, the Dewdrops and the Distress Mini inks, because they work really well to keep in one hand and get those small spaces. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that on the right side. And then I have my last pumpkin here, and I'm going to go do the Morocco again. So we have Morocco on the outsides and the Spiced Marmalade ink on the inside. So do the pumpkin and then the stem. Turn that over and just stamp that within the circle as well. So now you can see when you close that, you can see the little pumpkins through. I'm going to finish that off by stamping the faces in Tuxedo Black ink to make these jack-o'-lanterns instead of just pumpkins. So we're going to give that guy that face. This guy gets this face. And then this face goes on the center pumpkin. Now you want to make sure before you start trying to erase your pencil lines that your ink is dry. So I like to just kind of test it with my finger, rub over it a little bit, and it seems to be good. The Memento and Distress inks really dry pretty quickly, so typically you don't have to worry too much about waiting a long time for them to dry. So I'm just going to take that eraser and get rid of those pencil lines around each circle. So there you have perfectly placed pumpkins. Now I also am going to finish off the front with a Happy Halloween sentiment. And sometimes I really have trouble finding exactly the right sentiment that I want for a certain card. So what I decided to do is search through all of my stamps to find the perfect combination. So I'm going to give you a little trick today. I took the Happy sentiment from the Come On Get Happy set, and then I grabbed the Happy Halloween sentiment from Halloween Doodles. Now, I could have just used Happy Halloween down here, but I liked it a little bit better with the large Happy and the small Halloween. So I'm going to start by inking up my large Happy. I'm going to open up my card front here, and I've aligned that on the grid line block right along those lines so that you know it'll stamp straight as long as you have it straight on the grid line. So we're going to stamp Happy first. Then I'm going to take Happy Halloween, and here's my little trick. If you only want a portion of the sentiment, you can mask that top portion while you're applying the ink to make sure that you don't get the ink on the portion of the stamp that you don't want it. So right here I have some masking paper. I'm just going to take a piece of that out. I go through a lot of masking paper. It's really a great tool to have on hand. Okay, so I just cut a little piece of that, probably more than I need, but just so you know, you can understand. So I peeled the backing off. It's sticky on this side. I'm going to put the sticky side down over the Happy because I don't want my Happy to be inked. I only want Halloween to be inked. Then I'm going to take my ink, and holding that down, I'm just going to ink up the Halloween. Now when you remove this, you can see that none of the ink got on the Happy. So I have inked just the portion that I want, and I have it lined up on my grid line so that I know exactly where to put that underneath the Happy. So there we have Happy Halloween with your pumpkins in the middle. It was super easy to do, and I think it turned out really cute. You can also choose to decorate the inside of your card, maybe with some rolling hills like I did on my sample, or you can figure out other things that you want to try on the inside. To create your own Peekaboo cards using these products, visit the Tailored Expressions web store at tailoredexpressions.com. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Happy stamping!